Good morning and welcome to this week's LinkedIn Live, where we're going to be looking at transforming leadership challenges into moments of impact. So let's dive straight in and consider what those leadership challenges might be. Imagine you're a new leader, new team leader, and you've walked into a new role on a Monday morning. What are some of those challenges that you might face? Maybe they're things that you haven't really had to think about before. Well, the first one is delegation. The challenge is letting go of some of those jobs and tasks that you've been doing to date, and knowing now that you've got a team sitting behind you, a team that if you do it well, you can delegate to. So one of the first challenges is about micromanaging, and that has all sorts of issues for the team in terms of trust, in terms of not allowing your team to grow and grow into their own potential, so that one day they may possibly be leaders. And actually, maybe you're not the right person to do the job. Maybe there is someone in the team who's actually better positioned to do the job that you're actually going to delegate and ask them to do. That leads me on nicely to trust. Trust is something that we can develop through learning how to build trust. It is a skill set. There are certain things that you need to do. And trust is one of the glues that hold a team together. So it is critical that you get this right. I often hear stories of people saying, I'm just not sure that my team completely trusts me. And so what do we do in those situations? What do we do in the moment to turn that challenge into a moment of positive impact? What other challenges might a team leader face, or actually often senior leaders may face? It's an emotional awareness of how you sit within the organization, within your teams, within your departments. What's the vibe that you're giving off? Are you able to manage your own emotions? And actually, are you able to manage the emotions of your team? So emotional IQ is critical, and it's something that you can, if you have an emotional intelligence issue, that's something that can be developed actually quite straightforwardly when you know how to do it. So that's what this is all about, transforming challenges into moments of impact. So my name is Cara Cuniff, and I'm founder of ThriveWell Global. We are a leadership development organization, and I transform leaders' potential into leaders' performance. That's what this is all about. But there is something else that sits behind this for me. And this is actually about improving the standards of leadership development across business. Because if we have better leaders, we have better business. And the roll on from that is that we have then stronger economies. So, there is a bigger picture for me there about better leaders into better business. So we've talked about transforming challenges into leadership moments of positive impact. But actually what they really are about, they are training opportunities. Whenever you hear a leader say, I've got this difficulty, I'm facing a challenge, that is the moment that actually, in HR, in L&D, in performance parts of the organization, the question should be, how do I transform that challenge into a training opportunity? A training opportunity. Because it's in those training opportunities that we have our moments of impact. And moments of impact are like those aha moments for leadership. They are the aha moment that will then sit with that leader for the rest of their career. And that's what we want. We want to take these challenges and we want to transform them into career moments of impact. So we've the things that you can do for developing these moments of impact. The first thing is really all about creating personalized and immersive learning. What do I mean about personalized and immersive learning? Well, the personalized piece, this is about meeting your leaders in the moment where they're having that difficulty. Maybe they're struggling with micromanagement. How do you meet them in the moment and take the issue, the challenge of micromanagement, and turn that into an opportunity for growth? Because what happens when you do that is you start to develop a growth mindset across the business. When you meet your leaders where they're at and you support them with immediate, proactive training opportunities, you then develop a growth culture within your organization. And when you have a growth culture, you then have a more engaged team, you have more engaged leaders, because they know you've got their back and you are there to support them in that moment. So the first one is meeting leaders in the moment when they are facing that challenge. Following on from that, we've got offering flexible learning pathways. Not every leader is the same. We're all human. We don't all face the same challenges. There may be certain leadership skills that actually, all leadership would find useful to develop. But even in that space, some of us will be stronger at one skill than another skill. And let's remember that leaders are, in the main, made, not born. So we want to be able to ensure that we're offering flexible learning pathways to all our leaders, meeting them in the moment when they need it. And the other way to develop immersive learning, it's about offering real life scenarios that are tailored to your organization. Yeah, that's the bottom line. If I was in, for example, a law practice, and I've got a law client at the moment, a legal client at the moment, where, when you're talking about legal scenarios, they are very, very different to what may be food manufacturing scenarios. One size does not fit all, and therefore it's important to be able to flex your stories, your scenarios, your storytelling, so that you offer real engaged learning. The first step to creating personalized learning is through what we term a leadership audit. It's some organizations call it a leadership health audit. We call it leadership audit, and essentially it's a conversation to understand what your organization is doing with regards to leadership and developing your leadership, because leadership development really does need to happen on a continuous basis. That is where you understand in the moment issues when it's continuous, and being able to put in place real-time feedback. That's the third area we're going to discuss: real-time feedback for development. How are your leaders getting that real time feedback for their development, for their personalized development? Are you giving them space and time in order to develop themselves, and are you giving them this development in the moment when they need it? There's no point in giving delegation training at a time when actually your leaders are really struggling with emotional awareness and the emotional impact that they're having on their team. So what's really important is that your leaders are understanding where they are in the moment, that you're offering immediate and proactive feedback that allows them to course correct. Sometimes course corrections need to happen over time. It's not, a one-hit wonder. Those days where you go on and have training and you walk away and job's done, and maybe you remember one thing from it. The one-hit wonder approach is not always the best way. And what your leaders need is time to course correct and to be given continual feedback in order to course correct aligning to your organizational needs. And sometimes this is because the organization changes and your leaders need to adapt to the organizational course correction. So, the first thing for real-time feedback for development is, immediate training that offers the ability for your leaders to course correct. Secondly, it's about being very proactive in giving feedback exactly when it's needed, and that's about having leaders in your organization that are trained for giving real-time feedback, effective real-time feedback, so that teams, staff are able to develop themselves because they've been given that piece of useful feedback. And we always say, giving feedback in the way of keeps and starts. So, keep doing this because you're doing it really well, and this is the impact of what you're doing, and start doing this because this is what's happening, and this is the impact of what will happen if you start doing more of this. So it's a very, very positive way of giving feedback through keeps and starts. And what that does is it develops a culture of feedback, an accepted culture of feedback, and a growth culture, again, as I've already mentioned. So we've spoken about transforming challenges into training opportunities. That's the first step. We've spoken about creating a personalized and immersive training. And then finally, training within your organization to give effective feedback so that your leaders can develop, your teams can develop, and your through all of that, your business grows effectively in the right direction. So my name is Cara Cunniff. It's been great to spend literally a short and sweet this morning, 11, 12 minutes with you. If you want to connect with me, please do so on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to have a leadership audit, we offer a complimentary leadership audit. The link will be the link for this will be in the comments below. I wish you a really fantastic week. And if you're watching the Olympics, I hope you are enjoying it. Bye-bye.